Hi guys, we're going to go through the extra help portion for this learning target. So we're on page 4, we're looking at 2.2.1, and we're going to just go through this. So if you were struggling with the independent practice, then it would be helpful to do this. So a slope can be thought of as the rate or the speed of the line. And to find it, we want to use our slope formula. So our slope formula is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we use m for slope, and then we subtract our y's on top and our x's on the bottom. And we should always make sure that when we line them up, the y and the x here that are on top of each other do go to the same point. Same thing here. So we have one example that we're going to go through. It says find the slope of a line with the points 4, -18, and -12, 10. So step 1 is we want to label our points, and that's going to help us to keep everything organized. So our first point is going to be x1, y1. So I'm just going to put x1, y1 above it because it's point number 1. It's the first point listed. And then the second point is x2, y2. So x2, y2. Once we have them labeled, we want to plug the points into the slope formula. And we're going to do that on the side over here. So I'm going to start with y2, and y2 is 10. So I have 10 minus y1, and y1 is -18. So -18. So I have to be careful because I already had a subtraction sign, but the 18 is negative, so I need to have both. And all of that is going to be over x2, and x2 is -12, minus x1, and x1 is 4. So I just want to double check. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Good. So step 3 is we want to simplify the numerator, or the top, then the denominator, or the bottom. So let's simplify the top first. So I have 10 minus a -18. When we subtract a negative, that can turn into like a big plus sign. So I have 10 plus 18, which is 28 in my numerator. And then in my denominator, I have -12 minus 4. And we can type that in a calculator, or I can say -16. Step 4 says determine if the result can be simplified further. So can we divide both the numerator and denominator by the same number? So I think I can divide them both by 4. So I'm going to divide the top by 4 and the bottom by 4, and then see what that gives me. So 28 divided by 4 is 7, and 16 divided by 4, it's going to be -4. And 7, I can only divide by 1 or 7, and then -4. So that's actually as simple as it can go. So our slope, we could write it a couple different ways. We could say m equals -7/4. Excuse me, -7/4. Or I'm going to type it in my calculator. -7/4 is the same thing as -1.75. However, we want slope to be a fraction because when we get to graphing, we do rise over run, and so the fraction is going to be a little bit easier. If you wrote it as a decimal, though, you would not be marked wrong.